Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Lethem, and welcome to another episode of The Economy and You. And today, we're going to be talking with a couple of awesome ladies from the Pacific Gateway Center, and we're going to talk about all the sort of weird and wonderful stuff that you folks are doing over there at Pacific Gateway. And we have Dr. Myung, and we have Wiwik Bunyamin Mao.
Correct.
Yes. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. Thank you.
Is that a hyphenated name?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, which makes it even harder.
You got it.
Okay. So I'm really thankful you guys decided to come on my show, because I actually engaged with you folks about 10 years ago with somebody who was working for the organization to help develop some micro-lending software. But that sort of never came to fruition, but it was an interesting opportunity for me to develop that kind of an application. So Dr. Myung, how long have you been with Pacific Gateway Center? Because you've been there for quite a while now.
I've been there for 2 reincarnations. The first time in 1988, and then I went off to work in Indonesia, where actually Wiwik is from. And then I came back around 1997 and have been at Pacific Gateway Center since then.
Is that right? So, saya bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia sedikit.
Oh my God.
How do you like that? How do you like that?
Wow. That's pretty much
I'm
it.
impressed. I've forgotten my Indonesian.
Is that right? Is that right? Well, I lived in Indonesia for 2 years. In Jakarta, yeah. I lived in Jakarta. Yeah. So that's just an interesting thing I just found out. So anyway, Pacific Gateway Center has been around quite a long time. You're doing a variety of things. And Wiwik, you have been there how long now?
Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months, is that right? So you're fresh meat.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I am the newbie fresh meat, correct. But I'm learning fast.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to learn.
Yes.
Because you guys are just into everything these days.
Yes.
I was looking at your website. I saw that you're working on affordable housing.
Yes.
What are you doing with affordable housing? Because that's like the #1 issue in Hawaii today.
Yes, but we're a very small player.
Okay.
We own a 6-apartment unit in, well, I guess it's Kaka'ako, but it's towards Ala Moana. And we have been housing the low-income folks. We've had several homeless that got back on their feet and then went on to, I guess, get good jobs and so forth. So from there, we've been trying to move into a different type. Up in Kunia, we are looking at possible funding for getting containers. Now, an architect came to us and said, I have this great idea. You know, you can really build very inexpensive housing with containers. And then he showed us all these, and we were so intrigued. And we wrote a proposal, and we were invited by New York to submit it. We did, but we didn't get the money. So there we were. And then we find out DPP really didn't like some of the features of container housing. So you have to make it retrofitted so that it would meet the DPP standards.
So DPP is whom? Who is DPP? The
Department of Permitting and Planning.
Planning and Permitting. And they're getting in the way of helping us to come up with a solution for the homeless problem? Shame on them. I'm going to scold them next time I'm down there and see them.
Don't tell them I said that.
Just between you and me, okay? We won't let anybody know, okay?
But they said it's got to meet the codes. And, I totally understand that. But,
Maybe we need to come up with some exception to the codes in order to get our homeless problem solved. First. Get these people off the street. Maybe we need some kind of an exception in the law that will allow us to get these folks some kind of housing, if just temporary in nature, that it doesn't necessarily have to meet all the standards for building a normal facility. Because,
Chris, I should interrupt you, but I'll tell you, city, I think, has looked at it, and they stole our idea.
No, say it isn't so.
Yes, they went to Sand Island, and they're going to build container homes there.
Well, I'm going to give you a new idea today.
Yes.
I have a new idea.
Okay.
I was watching, being from Indonesia, in Indonesia, they build homes out of bamboo.
Yes.
Well, they build amazing homes out of bamboo. I mean,
Beautiful
they're
ones.
beautiful, really pieces of art.
Yes,
Now, I thought to myself, what do we have a lot of here in Hawaii? We have bamboo.
we do.
We have a lot of bamboo that's just sitting out there not doing anything for anybody. Wouldn't it be great if we could figure out a way to use bamboo to build quickly developed homes that perhaps are framed in bamboo, maybe stretched with a fabric, something like that, that could be used as a temporary shelter to at least, in the short term, give people some place to live or to be, to transition into more permanent type of housing.
I'm with you, because when I lived in Indonesia, I had lots of projects because I handle all the nonprofit agencies, and one of them was in Bali. And there was a lady who was into bamboo, and she built these houses. Beautiful.
Amazing.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yes.
about, and I want to do it, but we have to make sure we meet the codes of the city and county of Honolulu.
Well, I think we have to meet, I think maybe what we have to do too is introduce legislation that will allow us to build structures that are safe structures. Because bamboo, of course, is very light. Its tensile strength is greater than steel. So you could build structures out of bamboo from material that we already have.
Right.
And that's what I thought about. What material do we already have available to us that we could use to build some sort of transitional structures that people could at least get off the street?
And bamboo is the fastest growing
Yeah,
renewable
and it grows back.
material. Right,
That's right. You cut it, it just keeps growing.
yes.
So anyway, that was my idea. So I just wanted to present that with you, present that to you today. So maybe
Great idea.
we could talk
Very
about that.
appropriate,
Yes.
because, where we came from, Dr. Miang is from Myanmar, and
Mm-hmm.
so lots of probably bamboo structures.
Yes.
too,
Oh, I would
there.
think so.
Yes.
So very appropriate.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that
Score
was
point.
that. Yeah. Good for me. So maybe what we can do though is introduce legislation. We have some friends down at the legislature.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
could
that's
introduce
good.
some legislation perhaps that,
Uh-huh.
that would provide some exceptions for this type of, and we could give it a name.
Yes.
Maybe some sort of au natural housing or something like that.
Yeah.
Built, resource from, local materials where we could get some kind of exception, at least because of the way I look at it. And not only is it a humanitarian issue, it's also an EPA issue, environmental issues, impact, being impacted, it impacts tourism, people come here, they save up for years to come to Hawaii, and they come and they're stepping over homeless people.
But
That's
both-
not the experience they paid
well, on
for.
both sides, it's definitely not a good experience.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be stepped on either.
That's right, that's true, yes, that's right.
It has to do with both sides.
Yeah, and I think, perhaps, and I think there's a cool factor there, there's like if you lived in a house that was made out of bamboo or property, or, where it was made out of bamboo, people might find that, very inviting and exotic, yes, yes. And who knows, we could have competitions and stuff for people coming up
Yeah,
with different
with
designs
different
for that.
designs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're onto something.
Yeah, so anyway, that was my epiphany for the weekend, so.
Very good.
So anyhow, another project that you're working on is called the Nakapuna Makamae project.
Yes.
Makamae project, which is the old poo pumper station in Kaka'ako. And by the way, it doesn't smell anymore. It doesn't have any smell or anything.
It has not been used for the last 50 to 60 years.
Right.
It's a 100-year-old building,
Mhm.
totally, I think, it was a stone building that only people 100 years ago would have built.
Mm.
But it's beautiful. And, it's right in front of Old Comp USA.
Right.
And
It's architecturally sound.
oh,
It's not
just-
going anywhere.
yeah, it's just
Solid.
gorgeous. And architects love it. And they've all been looking for a way to preserve it. And we came along with, we were there at the right time. And we are going to be renovating it, preserving it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are trying to, I mean, Vivek and I have been going round and round to make that sustainable. And we want to, if we could, and we have the money for it and all the conditions are right, we want to power it with renewable energy.
Okay.
And also, if we dare go that far, is to even put in those batteries that will.
You can recharge them from the solar,
right,
the solar
right,
power.
Right.
So then.
That we have a 100-year-old building.
That's off the grid.
That's off the grid.
How cool is that?
How cool is that? It's wonderful. Yes.
You know, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And the battery technology, of course, is just keeps getting better and better all the time.
Yes.
They're getting smaller, getting cheaper.
Smaller and cheaper, and they last longer.
Yes.
You know, one of the things is the longevity of the batteries, because they are, you know, the initial investment still can be somewhat pricey, but if they last a very long time,
Right.
then, you know, it averages out. But,
Yes.
yeah, so I think that's a great idea. And, you know, one of the technologies that I saw recently on YouTube was they're actually making window panes that absorb, that are basically solar cells. They're solar panels that look like windows, or that essentially are windows, so they're dual purpose.
Right. I
You
heard
know.
of those.
You heard of those?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the technology was brought in or developed in Korea. Do you know where it was?
No, I don't know.
And at that time, I was thinking, wow, we need those, because you can't always have enough roof space
Yes.
to put all the solar. So you need the windows too.
That would be great. I think that would be great. If you could get the windows and the roof,
Well,
you really get a
yeah.
real benefit.
In this particular case, because it's a historic building,
Uh-huh.
we can't put anything on the roof. So we have to think of an alternative space to actually put the solar panels.
Yeah, that may be
Yeah,
a solution.
so that definitely is
Now,
a great solution.
in that part though,
Uh-huh.
we have to make sure that the Department of Historic Preservation
Approves of it. Yeah,
That's what
that's
it
right,
is.
because everything that you do has to get approved by
Right.
them. Okay. Well, this is a great conversation. I want to talk about more of the exciting stuff that you're doing. We're going to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back. We'll talk about some of the more great stuff that you folks are working on.
Of course.
How's that?
Yes.
I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You, and stay tuned. We'll be right back. Mahalo.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on Think Tech Hawaii. Center Stage airs every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and of course you can check out our archives on YouTube or on Think Tech Hawaii anytime you like. Why should you do that? Because this is an arts show that I believe is making a difference in lives. We talk with artists of various ilk. We talk with painters and writers, playwrights, novelists, poets, sculptors, dancers, you name it, directors, actors, of course. And we don't only talk about what people do, but we talk about how they do it. And my favorite part of the conversation, we talk about why they do it. And it's really common on this show to hear people say, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And it's very common to hear people afterwards who have seen the show say the same thing. And I hear all the time that people are inspired by the conversations that we have. So why don't you join us and be inspired too? That's Center Stage on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We'll see you Center Stage.
Hi, welcome back. I am Chris Lethem, and this is The Economy and You, and today's guest is Dr. Miang from Pacific Gateway Center and Wee Week. And help me with your last name, Wee Week?
Bunyamin Mao.
Very easy. I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed that.
You tried.
I did try. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the one of the things that you folks work with is job training, creation, and placement for people that you've trained. And then I also want to talk about your micro-lending program.
Okay, well, one of our values of Pacific Gateway Center is food. And I know that people don't agree that food can be a value, but we fought for it. The staff fought for it. We believe in food. We love food.
Try not having food. I tell you, it gets valuable real quick.
So we train people in the food industry.
Okay.
And from, serving to preserving to plating, and all of that is like art,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So people do learn, and then they get jobs at restaurants where they are tipped properly and so forth. So that's one job placement. The other one, again, relates to food, which is farming.
Yes, that's very important. Organic farming too.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have, we served, of course, the low income, the refugees, and the immigrants. And the low income and the immigrants have different needs. But the refugees also, they come with even fewer skills than what we need here. And so we look to them for what they can do already.
Okay.
And in our refugee population, we have a large subgroup of traffic victims, and they are farmers. So
they were trafficked, human trafficking.
Survivors, yeah.
Yes, and so these are a lot of times women.
No,
Men too.
men,
Really?
because it's labor.
Oh, they were trafficked as laborers.
Laborers, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a kind of trafficking we don't hear as much about these days.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And Hawaii is one of the highest numbers. And so they were farmers, and so we decided, okay, we will help them.
Okay.
And we got into farming. We tried to get land, took a long time.
Now, where is the land located at?
Several places, one in Kunia,
Mhm.
one in Hawaii Kai, and then 2 places on the Big Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and Kauai, sorry.
And Kauai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have been working with them, and the Department of Ag has been very helpful. CETA has been a solid partner from the University of Hawaii. And
Nice.
they have helped us, with pest control, food safety. We've translated the material so that they would understand what they need to do.
Okay.
And so that is one of the key thrusts of our initiatives.
And these folks have a proclivity for farming. They like
Correct.
farming. That's
Yes.
the
They
life.
came
From
do.
farming.
That's the life they know.
Yes.
Yes. But as you know, from Southeast Asia to here, farming is different.
Yes.
And so we had to retrain them into the American style of farming. Why food safety is important, why you have to wash your hands after, all of that stuff.
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's
So we consider that one of our biggest job training and placement arenas.
Because when I was a kid, I grew up on a farm as a
Ah.
child. Yeah, yeah. My mother used to send us out to pull weeds until my uncle and I discovered the onion patch. And we would sit out there and eat the onions. My mother would. After that, we didn't get sent out to pull weeds anymore.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah. For a lot of these farmers too, they need to learn, the simple things like invoicing,
That's right.
or, market research, or, what do you plant? So, what is the market looking for? So you know what you plant.
Well, do we have
in
something
advance.
that's similar to a county agent? Like in the mainland, when I grew up, we had county agents that would go around and talk to the farmers and give them information about what crops to grow and, what was going on in that arena. Do we have something similar to that here in Hawaii?
We do have something similar to that, but there aren't enough of them to go around. And secondly, we have a language problem because the traffic victims don't speak English.
So they probably speak not one language, but a multitude of languages, people coming from different areas.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And then
So-
also there's the challenge of, certain farmers really just want to stick to certain crops.
Well, yeah, and they're just like,
That's
they're a
all-
little bit strong-headed about,
Exactly.
this is what I know, I want to grow what I know.
Yeah, because they feel like, they grow those particular crops the best. And so it's so hard to kind of deviate from that. And they were introduced to, having to plant new crops and, yeah.
Sometimes that's
They
a
get
learning
nervous.
curve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we still grow pakalolo here? I'm just kidding.
Was that you?
Is it our number one crop? I thought one of the islands here is our
That's
number one
on
crop.
Maui. Yeah.
Now that we've made it legal, I'm just wondering, we're going to have farms coming up, is that going to be one of the crops that farmers are going to start
That's
to
another
to
idea
grow?
there, Chris.
Yeah,
You keep-
another
You
idea.
keep giving us ideas.
That's right. I have nothing to do with that.
It's
Do
on
not-
you.
no,
It's
no,
on you.
no. Well, I want to talk about the micro lending program that you folks have. Where are you at with that these days?
Well, we have 2 or 3 funders of loans, loan money rather, and their demand is so high. We've given out everything we have.
Now, but you get refunded?
We
or
will
you
get
you
refunded.
get
We have to
refunded?
wait for the, we have to wait for the cycle to come back, and we will
Okay.
be.
Now, so now you're working with more with existing entities, or are you working more with startups?
Oh, both.
Both?
Both,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You know, I mean, the world of providing funding for new startups, we have lots of interesting organizations like Blue Startups and the Angel, you know, the Angel Startups, and these organizations entered the energy incubators as well. Do you work or coordinate with them at all, or is that
No,
something?
we don't.
You don't?
Because our clients,
Mhm.
low-income immigrants, and of course the refugees, don't have access to them. Language is the first issue, and I was going to go on and tell you,
Oh, okay.
ESL is part of our job
Service,
training,
yeah.
because it's really
Oh.
important for them to learn English,
It
otherwise
is.
they won't survive.
That's right.
So that's really, really key. And another project that we're starting is sewing, because women, I mean, has to do with Nakapuna Makamai.
Okay.
The elderly, they know how to sew, but the young ones, they're more into texting and so forth, and you know, sewing is not in their vocabulary. But the immigrants and the refugees who come, they do want to learn sewing. So that's another. But we have to teach them the machines, because
Yes.
they're totally different machines from your grandmother's, you know, singer, right? So
My grandmother had the foot pedal
Right.
singer machine
Yeah.
that
Right.
you would work with your feet.
right.
Yeah.
But you know, in developing countries, those are still around because
Absolutely. Yes.
they don't because you can't trust the power grid,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Because all of a
Absolutely.
sudden the lights will go off,
Mm,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we're doing on that end. And going back to the loans, is that we have to wait for them to come back, and when they want to apply, they have no credit history. Some of them have never had a credit card.
Mm.
They don't speak the English, so you got to sit down and explain every single, you know, component. They don't meet the requirements. If it's a farmer,
Right.
they have to have the bank or whoever. They want you to have at least 10 years lease on to, you know, to
Before
give
they'll
you-
give you money to
Right.
to fund
to grow
the seeds.
Yes,
and
whatever.
grow crops.
And-
That's
and-
crazy. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, you
and
shot
most
yourself
of them,
in the
they
foot.
just
Yeah.
getting month to month or maybe 2 years. That's about it.
Right.
Yeah. So good example. So the farmers that we serve, the ones, for example, in Cunha,
Mhm.
really majority of them don't speak any English, but they can only probably get loan money from an organization like Pacific Gateway, only because we have the people who
Uh-huh.
speak their language.
That's right. So
Right.
you meet a very specific niche
Yes, very
of
specific.
these folks.
Absolutely.
And you know, they're not doing high tech stuff. They're doing really.
They're not.
They're bringing technology in because there's new technologies for farmers that are available today. You certainly
Absolutely.
want them to be able to take advantage of that. But of course, being able to speak English, you know, makes that much easier for them
Right.
to understand what
Absolutely.
the benefits of these new technologies are.
Absolutely, because it's another challenge. For example, you know, they don't qualify for crop insurance, or you know, I mean, these are just you know, we are basically the organization who are there to advocate for them. You know, we're the ones dealing with the federal agencies.
Well, you are
states,
advocates. That's
and
really what you are.
That's really what it is.
You are advocates
Yeah.
for these folks.
Yeah. So another good example is Pacific Gateway owns a big kitchen incubator. So for startup food business, so if they need to use a certified kitchen that they
Uh-huh.
don't have,
Right.
and they come and they rent space, but some of them also get loan money to start
their
catering
their
or
catering business,
exactly,
or
exactly.
maybe they're doing some kind
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
ethnic food. I love ethnic food. By
Yeah,
the way.
and Dr. Mien can tell you the story of the pig and the lady.
Yeah.
Yes, tell us the story. We want to hear. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll hear the story about the pig and the
Absolutely.
lady. How's that?
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You, and we'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Keli'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the Think Tech Hawaii Broadcast Network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to Think Tech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the Think Tech Hawaii Broadcast Network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Oh my goodness, we're back. We got one more segment to do, ladies. Hi, I'm Chris Lethem. This is Economy and You, and welcome to our show. Dr. Mieg, you're going to tell us a story about the pig and the lady, just as we were leaving. So please share.
Oh, we have a building in Chinatown that is to be used as an incubator for startups.
Okay.
Those who want to start restaurants. And we started out a program where every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one chef would come and cook, and then another chef would come. Different ethnic group.
Okay.
So you should have been there to eat the different ethnic. We had Thai, we had Indonesian.
Making me hungry already.
Yeah, we had Burmese, so forth. And so as we went along, we realized, we got to change our style, our strategy. And just at that time, when we were thinking about how to make it more exciting, the pig and the lady came to us and said, we need a place, a brick and mortar, because we want to start. What they did, actually, they started up as little farmers markets.
Oh, okay.
That's where they started. And their food was well received. It was sold out
all the
and
time.
they would not go to one, but several farmers markets.
Okay.
And then they had a couple of pop-ups. They'd use Hank's hot dog place for a pop-up and so forth, and did very well. And then
And they cook at Pacific Gateway's Kitchen.
they came once, I think, to look at it. Then we talked about it, and they said, okay, but they want to start. I said, do you really fit? We serve immigrants, we serve low income, we serve refugees. And do you fit into our mission, our target population? And this is what I learned at the end of Vietnam, when everybody was running away, getting onto any boat, any airplane. This family got onto, I may have been the last plane.
Really?
And the mother was already pregnant, but couldn't wait, had to get out.
That's right.
So the plane was going to Arizona, but on over the Pacific, the mother went into labor. So the pilot turned around and came to Hawaii, landed there. They rushed her off to Tripla and gave birth to the baby, which I think is now the chef.
The chef.
Is now the chef.
Yes.
Born in Hawaii.
Born in Hawaii. But this is a refugee family, and he had brothers and sisters and so forth. And the pig, he was a fat little chubby pig, I'm sure. We call him the pig.
Child, you mean?
Child. He is the pig.
Oh.
And he calls himself, I'm the pig. The lady is his mother.
Oh,
because he learned all the local Vietnamese and the homemade, Vietnamese dishes from her.
From the mom.
But he went to culinary school, not only here, but in New York, and he was also Chef Marlboro's, sous chef. So he learned a lot. And then he started experimenting with his own recipes.
I see.
And people just loved it. So the pig and the lady is now, being incubated at our place.
Oh my goodness.
My deputy director is going through helping them adjust to a brick and mortar restaurant because they were not used to it. They didn't know. You got to label. You got to get the people to come and make sure that the grease trap is,
That's right,
taken
that's right.
care
The
of. All
cleaning
of it.
is like
Oh,
major.
Jesus, major.
A major part of it, yeah.
And we pulled them and had them go and attend a HACCP, training and
Course.
get certification. And then we walk them through, or warn them, hey, there's that green card thing that's coming. You better get green, otherwise nobody will come. So they learned on that. And
Yes.
so Tarina, who's been working with them, I mean, she just loves their food. And now they've got a bakery.
Okay.
On the second floor, they have converted that into little incubators with cooktops. So different chefs can
Oh.
come, and then they can cook and demonstrate how they cook, see if people like
So
it.
what time of the day do I need to show up?
Oh, I don't know. I would say try 10:30 because by 11 there's a line out the door.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And where do I need to go?
83 North King Street.
83 North King Street, and
In
this is
Chinatown.
the Pig and the Lady.
Yeah.
And upstairs they have the incubators with them. They're cooking all kinds of different ethnic foods.
No, they're not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. Not
Coming
yet.
up soon.
It's coming
up
soon. Oh, okay. So that part is coming.
Yeah, the restaurant is running right now.
Oh, but the
It's
restaurant is
restaurant is
running.
running,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Because you've made me incredibly hungry at this point.
Oh,
I just want
the
you to know.
food is so good. They are absolutely wonderful.
Well, I want to talk about a couple of other things before we go, because we don't have much time left. But I wanted to talk about DACA. DACA has to do with these kids that were brought to Hawaii, in this case,
Or U.S.
or the United States and Hawaii now, who came here undocumented. So these are undocumented people living in Hawaii. What has been your role with DACA?
We are part of a coalition of organizations that are trying to get the word out to these undocumented kids to say, come in and we will help you not be deported, get your degrees, and we will help you with attorneys, that are helping us. So that's our role.
Okay.
But it is really difficult because, as you can imagine, they are scared.
I would be.
Yes.
Because
and-
if I only knew English, for example, and you're going to potential of getting sent back to a country where I didn't know the culture, maybe a little I know because I grew up in it here, but really don't speak the language, I don't know the lay of the land,
You don't have friends there.
I don't have any friends there, and I should end up back there, I know that that is going to be a very onerous situation.
Yes.
And considering that all my friends, my family, everybody's here,
yeah.
that's tough.
Yes.
That's a tough place to be. I know that because I ended up, in Indonesia by myself, and
That's
and
scary.
also in Japan. And if you're by yourself and you're not with anybody, it can be a little overwhelming because if you don't speak the language, you don't know where you're going, you don't know the culture. All that is it's formidable.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
so it's really tough. So I can totally empathize with that situation.
We've had a few successes, though. Different organizations, all under Hawaii Community Foundation, have been helping, and there are possibilities. As of course, everything has to be confidential because if somehow you're not given the right guidance, you might end up being deported.
Yes.
But the key thing is that the kids are scared that the authorities will go after their parents.
Up to their parents as well.
Because the parents came and somehow were undocumented.
That's true.
So that is a big factor for them.
I see. Okay. Because then they're afraid that if they identify the child, they'll be able to trace that back up to the parents.
That's right.
I see. Okay. That's an issue. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about in the last few minutes? Anything where you were looking for volunteers or people to come and help with anything that you're working on now or in the near future?
We have a Hawaii language bank
Okay.
where we provide language because, of the nature of the work we do. And we have a lot of people who call up for, interpretation in either a medical setting or court or whatever. And we do need volunteers just taking the calls because there's so many that
So many calls
comes.
coming in.
Yeah.
So you're looking for people who could work the phones and talk to
Right.
folks. Now, who would they reach out to and who would they call?
They would call, his name is Jordan,
Jordan,
and the number would be 851-7005.
851-7005.
Yes.
And ask for Jordan.
Yes.
And that's if you're, what languages specifically would you be looking for?
Oh,
Any.
Any language.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually right now currently have about 35
35
languages that, yeah,
that we offer.
yeah.
That's
a lot.
really a lot, yes. That's a smorgasbord of languages. Going back to our culinary.
Right,
Yeah.
Conversation earlier.
right.
And also, I think, with the Nakapuna Makamai
Okay.
Center.
Do you have enough
that
architects, people doing construction?
You
AutoCAD
have no
people?
idea how many architects want to get their hands on,
Is that right?
It's
They love that
it's,
building.
It's such a, historic and very important building. But,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say that, we really look forward to having different schools
Yeah.
to, really, come and participate in this intergenerational activities with the kupunas. The site is open, once we have programming going on. So we're hoping for different school children.
Well,
to
I
come
heard
and-
you're all going to have dance lessons out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we will.
Because,
But you gotta brush up your hula.
Well, no, I got to work on my tango. That's my move.
Oh,
tango.
boy, yeah. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it's really great for both of you to come on. I know you have a really busy week this week, so I appreciate you coming on the show.
This is fun, we get to laugh, right?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
great ideas. So.
Well, I think we got some interesting ideas. I love what you're doing. Now, when will you be coming back? When do you think that you might get funded to do more loans? When do you think that might happen?
In about maybe 2 months, we should.
In about 2 months,
Yeah.
okay. And if people were interested in talking to you about a loan, who should they contact? Where does that process begin?
That would be the general phone number, 851-7000.
851-7000.
Yeah.
And they can call and say they'd like to find out about your microloan program.
Absolutely.
And is this mostly for farming? Is it for helping
no,
immigrants
it's
do
for
other
anyone.
things?
Yeah.
For anyone?
Yep, and startup of anything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if they just have an idea for a business and they come to
Yes.
you and then you help them sort of vet the process, develop a
Right.
business plan.
Definitely.
I'm actually
know,
working, I'm launching an urgent care clinic, by the way, in Kalihi. So I'm working on an urgent care clinic over there. So
Really?
I may have to come talk to you.
Well, there you go.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, there's a reason why I got you on my show today.
Oh, now we're talking.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you come, and I know that you had to sort of arm wrestle her a little bit to get her down here. So thank you
My
so
job.
much. Yes, 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 yes.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, it was great to have you both on the show. Pacific Gateway Center has been around for how many years?
40.
40 years. And so maybe, God willing, you see folks around for another 40 more years.
Absolutely.
Doing great work.
Yes.
I think it's a great organization. You've got your fingers in so many different pies here in Hawaii.
Yes.
And you really serve a population that is underserved
Yes.
here in
Very
Hawaii.
much
So I really appreciate all your hard work. So please keep it up.
Okay.
And boy, did you know what you were going to get yourself into when you started?
Too late now. No way out.
Okay. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up our show. Okay, I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you folks in about 2 weeks. Thank you for watching again. Mahalo. Aloha.